Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I was due in Nashville, Tennessee, and today on the Hermitcraft server, we're going to be working on the Tser Pool encampment. I started laying the foundation for this a few episodes ago. The core concept of it is that every time people play the i6 Ravenloft module, you would visit the Tser Pool encampment and talk to Madame Ava, who is a fortune teller, who would tell you where like certain magical items were, or where you might find an ally, or where the vampire might be, that sort of thing. And you would draw from a deck of cards in order to randomize these elements. These 5 elements would be different every time, so you could play the adventure a whole bunch but not have the same experience. You might be trying to get to the top of the tallest peak in one episode, or in one adventure. Dang it, of course these chunks aren't loaded. But in another, you might have to go to the bottom of the catacombs or the crypts to find a certain element, or not element. You're not like coming over here going like, I really need to find some molybdenum, or I'm not going to be able to kill this vampire because vampires are weak to molybdenum. No, it's like more like a sword that turns into like a glowing sun sword type thing. But anyway, so core concept. This is the area that randomizes how the game plays. And I tried playing this with my patrons a little bit, where I was drawing the cards in real life and showing them on the webcam, but realistically, it ended up kind of being a little bit weird. It's going to be much more natural if everybody gets to draw a card from an actual, like, randomizer here. Now, the way this works in Minecraft, I didn't actually bring anything to make buttons with. How do we make buttons? Oh, here we go. By grabbing cobblestone. That's how we make buttons. Boom. So just as a proof of concept here, what we would do is we'd have like one of these droppers represent the low cards and one of them represent the high cards. And the idea is that you have to draw 3 of the low cards and 2 of the high cards. Right now, these pieces of paper all have the same name, which is paper, but once we actually name them at the anvils over there by Mumbo's Mind Base, we'll actually have like 9 low cards and 7 high cards or something like that to randomize the game with. And then we'll also have a board. Now, normally you would lay them on the table in a cross. Now, for the final version of the tent, we're not going to have cobblestone, but this is just proof of concept. We're just laying it down to see if you pick it up. We're going to have, instead of laying the cards down on a table, I'm going to have a wall here that represents the table. Now, ideally, each of these cards being a named piece of paper, you'd hover over it and you see the name. I might come back once I look at the names that actually go on the cards, and like if one of them is the executioner, maybe I'll make that card quote unquote an axe, that sort of thing. So that's kind of one of those things where proof of concept. We know this can work. We don't know what we don't know what the tent should look like. In fact, I should have one big tent for Madame Ava, and then we should have like a few other small tents and wagons around here. But we gotta get this going. So anyway, that's the proof of concept, or whatever. Time skip! In the original text, the i6 Ravenloft supplement by Tracy and Hickman, Tser Pool encampment doesn't actually have a map, unlike the Curse of Strahd one. The Curse of Strahd one makes it pretty clear there's 5 tents that are like smaller and circular, and one big rectangular one for Madame Ava. Whereas here's all you get, really, in the original 1983 book. The canopy of mist and branches overhead suddenly gives way to black clouds boiling far above. There is a clearing here. Dry, brittle grass rustles in the biting wind. On the far side of the clearing are several colorful wagons parked on the banks of a pool. The mournful strains of an accordion mix meekly with the moaning of the wind. Several brightly clad figures surround a large roaring fire. The road seems to pass close to the camp. So, yeah, that's all you get. You don't get, like, here's how many wagons there are, or here's how many of the tents there are. And unlike the castle, where I'm trying to actually keep it pretty close architecturally, and that's a really unfortunate way those chunks loaded. Dang it, chunks. Load better next time. But whatever. I feel like if I just set up 1 or 2 smaller tents, which this was kind of a mock-up of, like, what a good tent might look like if it was terrible. And I realized I need to add some stripes or something, because this just looks so bad. I feel like maybe if I made some of these sides like dark gray and some of them light gray, that'll look good. Okay, so there we go. We've got our smaller tent now. It kind of sells tent a little bit better than it did before. I don't know. We might mix it up a bit and have one of them be these two gray colors, and then another one be like gray and maybe the deep blue. I don't know. Well, at this point, we've got two little tents set up here. Post in the middle. Some nice little things here. You know, I guess I could maybe put a chest in each or something, but I don't really see the need right now. This is just communicating the idea this is some sort of camp. So, there we go. We have enough to make this feel like I understand how the space will be used. So we can put in maybe two more of these around here at some point. And we can also get started on a wagon. The most important thing to get right, though, is Madame Ava's tent. Now, this tent is described in the book internally. They describe the tent that it's in, or they describe the tent from the inside, not the outside. So let me read from I6. Within, all is dimly illuminated in pools of red light. A small low table stands across from the doorway, covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seems to flash from the crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. And then it describes what she says and stuff, but we're going to save that for the game. Whereas, like, if I pull from the new book, it's basically the exact same. Low table, black velvet cloth, crystal ball. The table, though, or not the table, the Curse of Strahd book has a map, at least, that shows that this tent is approximately 15 feet by 10 feet. So that means we need to go and get a rectangle in place. I'm figuring we should probably set it up as far back as we can. So we'll pick that up, move it over. Let's crafting bench, you can go over here. And then I figure if we start here with like a gray corner. Now this tent being rectangular, and we want it to be a little bit taller than the others. So even though we're going to go 3 up on the corners, we're going to end up probably going up higher in the inside. And we'll have, rather than 1 post in the center, we'll have like 2 posts. So let's see, if this is the back wall against which Madame Ava would be sitting here. Let's go ahead and have some light gray wool here. Okay, so we're going to want to have room for the table. Let's go ahead and just put 2 spruce planks down to represent that table right now. And we'll probably have black velvet. I mean, let's just put some light gray down for the time being, just to give a sense of... You know, actually, maybe I should use an actual, like, black obsidian or something like that. This still feels like 3 feet high because... Okay, is there any black slabs in Minecraft? I might need to look into that. I don't think there are. But anyway, so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go ahead and have this tent continue, I guess, this way. This feels small, but this is 10 feet wide. This is about right. So let's see, if we were going to go with a striped pattern like this, we'd probably want to go and then back to light gray after. Maybe the blue is too much, but I don't know. Well, as I'm looking at this core concept, this is about the size and shape we want, but it creates a lot of problems. For one thing, can't put a post in the middle if it's like that. So, yeah, we're just going to rip out what we got here and start over. So as I'm looking at this is already way more space. And this is better too, because this allows us to have room to place our item frames that we're going to have the cards on. And what I'm imagining is maybe Madame Ava's low table will be right here, type of thing. So that way, her table's in the back corner. We can have the cards up there. Also, it's possible now that we have actually... dang it. It's really hard to place these and jump on them. It is possible. No, wait, maybe it's not. Maybe it's impossible. New plan. We're going to go like this. We're going to start putting some of these up here. And then we can have this fork maybe at the top, like with a crossbeam. That might work. Just to kind of prop up the center of the tent a bit. So that's going to be kind of in people's shots, though. If you're trying, well, if everybody kind of crowds around over here, I think you can fit 4 or 5 people around that. Okay, and it does seem kind of wasteful to have that like so prominent, but I mean that's just kind of what you got to do sometimes if you're gonna support a roof. You gotta accept that that roof is gonna need, you know, emotional support and not just functional support. So I don't know. There we go. So then this brings us back to our blue piping striping here. Whoops, too much piping, not enough striping. Also incorrect. Dang it, blocks. Go where I tell you to go, not where I point at. And then we can have kind of a rolled up roof there. Like this is open here. Okay, that's good. This is a solid start. Great, so we now have a tent. And nothing can spawn on top of it because it's in a mushroom biome. Ooh, creepy. Okay, yeah, this is good. I like this. Now I gotta get a crystal ball in here, which, I mean, I guess I can just use a literal piece of glass for. As much as I was looking forward to going and finding some glass, I think that this sea lantern might make a good crystal ball. And having it there is... Uh-oh. Well, that's the way the crystal crumbles. Well, I was going to move it around like 8 times and show you different ways that it could work. But, yeah, you know what? One thing we could do is we could make this wider here and just move the part that the... we move the part that the cards goes on over. So our cards would go here. And actually, you know what I'm realizing? Is that this is where the dispensers should go. So the actual dispensers should make up this table. And we can cover those dispensers with the carpet here. Like that. And then for our buttons, we can just put those right on the front. Great. And then we put, you know, cards in there. Okay, yeah. Core concept. This all entirely works. Yay. We have built a fortune-telling machine. We don't have the actual cards, but I can go name those in an anvil real quick. Although I do kind of want to get creative with how we do that. Man, I'm looking at this now. I'm almost wondering if I should have a blue stripe here. No. Gotta keep it the way it is. Gotta keep being awesome. Okay, so here we go. Now keep in mind when the players emerge from the portal, they're gonna come out here and be led past Madame Ava's tent to here, where then they will be invited to enter Madame Ava's tent. So it's kind of weird that you don't get to see the whole camp first, and it's not ideal that we don't have mycelium in here. But yeah, I think we'll worry about it. I might end up actually clearing out some of this. Wow, this is a slow digging speed. Oh yeah, I forgot I need to re-enchant a bunch of things. I might make this wider, so when you first come out that portal, it's more clear that you are, you know, in a camp. Like, you come out here and you see the fire. I might move the fire over, now that I'm looking at it. But we'll get rid of this strip of water here. Yeah, okay. So moving the fire out this way is definitely going to be a win. So we'll set a new fire pit here. As we enjoy our newly relocated fire at the Tser Pool encampment, the moon rises once more over Castle Ravenloft. And let me tell you, it has been fun working on this. I added not just a third tent here, but I also did a little bit of work on the inside of the fortune-telling tent. And now we're about to have every zombie ever attacking us, so we're just going to go ahead and close the flap of the tent here. Sorry, Mr. Zombie. And Spider, apparently. Now, the way the fortune-telling cards worked, I talked about them briefly before, but there's kind of two ranges of cards. There's, like, the low cards that represent the number cards, and the high cards are represented by, like, face cards. So, for the non-face cards, I basically actually assigned a different Minecraft item to represent each one, because they're important. They're the high cards. So, Ghost, we have Bone Meal. Mists, we have Swampy Mists, Lily Pad. Broken One, used a pane of glass, because there's like a mirror on the real card, and I don't have a mirror. And it's a good thing, too, because my hair is terrible. Dark Lord, you know, used an Enderman. Innocent, used a single tear. Beast, got some beast flesh there. Horseman with a saddle. Marionette, carrot and a fishing line. Yep. And the Executioner with rope. Then when we come over here, there's actually more than 9 of the low cards. So what I'm going to end up doing probably is kind of varying each time we play which ones are in the dropper and which ones are in the hopper, because the ones in the dropper are more likely to come up statistically. You're only going to draw 3, so the odds of drawing one of the ones out of here are pretty low. But for the 4 different suits, I went ahead and used iron ingots, emeralds, gold ingots, and these prismarine shards to represent different suits. So, you know, the swashbuckler, the merchant, the guild member, and the miser all come from the coin suit. The berserker and the mercenary come from the swords suit. The priest, shepherd, and anarchist come from the runes suit. And the transmuter, evoker, and necromancer come from the emeralds or stars suit. What I really should have done is included the actual numbers on each of the cards. I only realized that when I got to the last one. It's going to make it a pain to look these up while we're playing actively. But you know what? That's okay. Let's go ahead and see if these zombies have gotten bored. Good, they have. Okay, great. So let's get out our firework rocket here and blast off. There we go. There we go. We got a little camp. Got a little fortune-telling game going on. We might be able to reuse that fortune-telling game for other things in the future. I am excited by the core concept and by the execution. Although there's still some detail work left to be done, we have, much like our castle, we get the big things done first, and then we get the little things done. And we just keep refining, we see what's fun, we see what works. So, anyway. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.